Oh, welcome in. It's the Positively Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC. We are live. We are local. We're ready to talk pets here. Maltese Chihuahuas. What the heck is a Maltese Chihuahua?
It's a mulchie.
A mulchie
is the cute way of saying it.
I don't know what they look like, so I'm about to look that up and put a picture up on our website.
Yeah,
do you have a mulchie right now?
Yeah, we have a couple of mulchies,
okay.
And then in a couple of weeks I'll have even more mulchies.
More mulchies.
Yeah, it's a fun little breed. We'll talk about, what goes into the mix. There's a lot of different colors and looks that they come out with. It is a mixed breed, so that doesn't have those breed standards of the purebreds, but we'll talk a little bit about, hey, all purebreds were mixed breeds of the past, so let's not go down the path of, oh, that's not right. We can always do different things and come out with wonderful new varieties and all that kind of stuff.
There's beautiful mixed breeds that we see and talk about all the time.
Oh yeah, personalities and then the qualities are just so cool when they come out. It's hey, we're all mixed breeds,
right?
Yeah,
yeah.
We have
I was just cheering on the Netherlands like they were my home team because I have some Dutch blood and they were playing the World Cup, and I was like, why do I want Argentina to win? And Harold Van Beek, our friend up at Jewelry by Harold's, obviously Dutch, and he's a big fan of the World Cup too. So we were going back and forth on Facebook. Unfortunately, they fell short. Germany against Argentina now for the championship. For the World Cup, so.
And I heard, Germans are just going crazy.
Yeah, 7-1 win over Brazil, the home team.
I know. I was shocked at that.
Teardrops falling in Brazil. It was pretty crazy, but it's been fun watching the World Cup. What have you been up to, Ron, this summer? Have you been? We've been kind of touch and go with the show.
Right.
It's been not live sometimes. We had a really good replay show though of Officer Falcon.
Yes.
And just so our listeners know, I double checked with the police department to make sure he's still there and still doing it. And so that was one of my favorite shows. So we aired that, and you were gone. I know for a bit. You were in. One of my favorite places, the North Woods of Wisconsin.
Yeah, and even up into the UP. Took the family. For the first time, my family went backpacking. And my kids are so tired of me telling this story. I had an epic failure in backpacking when I was around 16, 17 years old. I had nothing to do. Asked the parents, can I just try this out? And so took the car, drove. It was like 10 hours up to the UP, to the Porcupine Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
In 24 hours, I experienced bears. I experienced loading my pack way too much to the point where I could not walk anymore, and I had to ditch the pack. I mean, all sorts of things. I was just winging it, And,
you were on your own?
Yeah, and I didn't ask anybody how to do it. I asked the ranger when I came in. I said, where do we get water? And that was about the only advice I got. And so this time, we did the right thing. We went to Active Endeavors. They educated us on how to handle all that stuff. Went into the woods, we walked over 12 miles. We stayed overnight in the woods. It was an incredible experience.
Fun.
Yeah, it was an adventure. I'm not saying that it was so easy.
Yeah.
Walking those distances, that was like enlightening. We woke up at 4:30 in the morning with thunder. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to be rained on, And so we were geared just in case for that. But luckily, it passed to the north of us. But
joined the early bird crew with me. I was probably up that same morning.
Yeah. And you know what? I was telling, I know you guys are not happy with me right now, hiking through the woods at 4:30. I said, this is amazing. It's dusk. The sun is just rising, and so you could see your way through the forest, but it was just a different forest at that point.
Porcupine Mountains are just gorgeous too. I've been up there just to see them. I've never done anything as adventurous as that, but I love it up there. It's just that pristine feeling. One of the best parts I like. We just went up there for after Christmas, that break between Christmas and New Year's. We went up there to a cabin in Presque Isle, Wisconsin, and just stepping out. I did this on a number of times. So that, everybody was doing different things, and I would just go out by myself at night and just look up.
Oh yeah.
It's just silence. That nice quiet feeling. So It's nice to escape a little bit, right?
It was
and you've been busy at the store, so it's good to escape.
Crazy busy there. Yeah.
So you guys are staying busy. This is the Positively Petland Show. If you have a question, last week was an example. I hung out here in the studio while that show was airing, and I had a question. The listener called in, and I don't remember what the question is. So if you listen, it was Seth. I know my buddy, former neighbor of mine. So if Seth, if you're listening, call back with that question. And if anyone has a question about pets, 319-354-0800, 319-354-0800. That's the phone number. We ask, we ask you to call us if you have a question about pets, and then especially if you have a Maltese. I don't know if we'll get an actual Maltese.
There are Maltese out there.
There's Maltese out there.
They're fairly popular, but let's open it up even wider and say if you have a Maltese
or a Chihuahua
as well,
you can claim a free bag of treats and a free bag of dog food courtesy of Nutro. All you have to do is call the show and tell us a little bit about your dog, the name of your dog, and then we'll set you up. So 319-354-0800, 319-354-0800. That's the phone number to call. If you want to just give us the name of your dog, we'll set you up if you have a Maltese or a Chihuahua or a Mulchie. I wonder if we could give even a special bonus for a Mulchie owner, because that'd be pretty special. And I actually want to get a picture of, because I'm trying to picture this, and I'm picturing a little Chihuahua head. But I don't know what this is going to look like. So I want to take a look at your website.
Okay, we'll talk about the personality, and the personalities are going to be just wonderful. I don't know, the easiest way that I relate with them, they are definitely on the small side, so under 10 pounds. Kind of a scrappy looking little thing, and that's what I love about it. It is just that cute dog that is a little scrappy, but just a beautiful, cute face. And so all different colors is what you can get. There's the Chihuahuas can be any colors. The Maltese will be white. As a result, you'll get everything from a white to all the different color mixes in there. So it's a really cool looking little dog. You'll see a lot of pictures, and what you'll see is a variety of looks out there. And so come on in and check out our Maltese. And if it's the right look and everything, then it's right for you.
And we will get a picture up on our Facebook page and also online at kxic.com. So you can see what a Mulchie looks like. If you're curious like me this morning and you want to know what they look like, we're going to get a picture up there here in just a few minutes. Stay tuned for that. We're going to get the amazing pet story of the week going here, and then we'll get into our first break of the show.
Yep. And we're going to talk about...
Yeah, tell us what else we'll talk about.
My favorite topic, pooping and peeing. So all those little issues like my dog eats my poop, not my poop, but the poop.
The poop, the cat poop.
Or my yard is getting stained, getting the brown spots and all that. We're going to talk about that.
Some solutions today.
A lot of solutions to those urinary and the pooping and all that kind of stuff.
Do you have a solution for our big voice jerk? Can you find a nicer big voice guy?
You always started off that way. I wonder, you don't wonder why he's so angry with you.
We have a history together here, us two. Get in here, big voice guy.
He is so professional, though. He just clears it, gets it done, gives you a whack.
Yes, he can't. Ow! God, come on. Be nice, please, big voice guy. I didn't mean it. You're not a jerk. You are what you are, and we'll move on here and maybe get a new big voice guy down the line. But you're all we have for now, so we have to keep you, I guess. All right. So today's amazing pet story of the week, we go to the Wareham Week newspaper. Wareham Week. This is Massachusetts paper that reports on a yellow lab named Dory, a young one too, 11 months old. And this dog saved the life of Valerie Alexander. Alexander has a heart condition called atrial misfires, and for no discernible reason, her blood pressure plummets at times, and her heart rate drops to dangerously low levels. And Dory sprang into action after Valerie felt woozy standing in her kitchen, tried to get to the bedroom to tell her sleeping husband that she was experiencing her atrial misfire, and she couldn't make it. She passed out, and the dog, of course, going crazy, as you can imagine, since it's the amazing pet story of the week, and barking and waking up the husband. He got a hold of the emergency personnel. They saved her life, and she thanks Dory because, again, without the dog, you wonder what would have happened. You never know, of course, but she fell to the ground. She passed out. Her husband was sleeping. Without the dog there, you don't know if she would have passed away. And so the dog sensed something was wrong, and at just 11 months old, that little puppy knew something was going on. He went crazy barking and woke up the husband. So
I am truly always amazed at that. I know we sense that they can sense things, but it's always at a level that we don't understand because we can't talk with them and go, what is it that got you alert?
Yeah.
I wish, or someday we will be able to go, hey.
Yeah. The example I give a lot with our home is Lucy, for whatever reason, has this bond with Jack, and he just recently had surgery, and when he came back from the hospital, she could tell he was, recovering and upset, and she wouldn't leave his side. And then recently, because of the surgery, he's been recovering, and there's things he can't do, like swim in the pool, and this has led to some sad moments where he doesn't understand and he cries, and every time he cries, just no matter where she could be down in the basement, she bolts upstairs and stands, and she's like sits right next to him, and it's just, to me, another example of just weird being able to sense. It's like, how do they
nicely weird?
Good, yeah. That's, I think, why we love our pets too.
Yep.
It's more than just an animal. And so, great story there from Massachusetts. And what we'll do is take a quick break and be back with the second half of the show. The Maltese is the breed of the week. So if you have a Maltese or a Maltese or a Chihuahua, we're opening up to all you owners of Maltese, Chihuahuas, or Maltese. If you have the mix, even better. 319-354-0800. 319-354-0800. And listen, if you call the show, all you have to do is say, here's my dog's name, here's a little bit about the dog, and then we set you up with a free bag of treats and a free bag of dog food courtesy of Nutro. And it's a great way to get a free bag of food and free bag of treats for your little pooch. And just by, and we like hearing from you too, because it does help give us that firsthand feel of what these dogs are like. All these different breeds. We've heard a lot of great stories over the years over different types of personalities, and we're certainly open here for you to call 319-354-0800. You could email the show news@kxic.com. It's the word news@kxic.com. Or you could put a note on our Facebook timeline. And actually, since we have a call, I'm not going to make him wait till after the break. Let's go right to the phone lines. Good morning. You're on the Positive Petland Show. What's your name? Hey, Seth.
There he is.
You don't have a Maltese, do you? But you have a question. You have a question for Ron? All right, what is it?
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I do not know. I do know that there are organizations in our area. They usually are small and more individual. It's not like a big organization that does something. It's a lot on an individual basis on training dogs. I think there's two aspects to getting your dog prepared for that therapy type process. The first process is just going and having and training your dog just for the normal house type stuff around the house, sit, stay, come, all that kind of a thing, so you have an obedient dog. Then the second thing is what you're talking about, is the therapy aspect of the dog. And so now you socialize them and make sure that their behaviors are very consistent on the passive side of things, so that they're not going to bite and all that kind of thing. So there's two stages to it that I'm aware of. We get therapy dogs in our store all the time on that second half of things, as far as making sure that they're good with a lot of people. And what people do is they bring their dog in, and we have so many people in the store, they get used to that aspect of things. So I would have to do some more research. I'll do a little research this week and come back next week and have more of an answer for you on that. I don't have an individual to refer you to or anything. I talk with them on a regular basis in the store.
I know, Seth, you're a loyal listener, so you'll be tuned in next week, right?
Yeah, you're going to hold me to it.
All right. Thanks for listening, bud. Appreciate it. Yep, Seth Good guy there, and good question too. I don't know the answer to that too. So now
there is a lot of interest in that topic.
In PTSD,
right? Well, in just on the therapy aspect, and I love what he's bringing out specifically.
Yeah. And he serves too, so thank you for your service, Seth. No doubt. And so make a note here, so we do some homework here for next week. And we'll take a quick break and be back with more after this. We're going to post that question of the mulchy if you want to see what it looks like. That's coming up over the break. We also are going to get you an update on weather and traffic, so stay tuned. I'll be right back with more after this. This is the Positively Petland Show for Ron Salsrud. I'm Jay Capron, back with more after this. Good morning.
AM 800 KXIC on the air from the Concept Iowa Hearing Aid Center's digital
picture
studios.
up here. Miniature poodle.
If you do no, it's not gonna. You won't. She hasn't gotten to that, and she's struggling with pictures. I can see.
Okay.
So go on the web and do Maltese Chihuahua, and you'll come up with. I don't know if you can see this picture. This is a really good picture of what. That's very similar to what we have.
The Jay Capron Morning Show.
And it represents what a lot of the Maltese look like. Kind of a wiry hair look.
Or call 338-5489.
Another wonderful day on the way to eastern Iowa. Looking for a partly sunny day, a high around 81. Winds out of the south today at 5 to 15 miles an hour.
Now a check on the roads from the Castle Motor Service Total Traffic Center.
Rapid expect delays in the area of Council Street between Blair's Ferry and Collins Road. Rural Lynn County at Lynn Jones Road project update. Highway 151 to Fairview Road has now
sounds more dynamic.
Construction taking place up by Oakville Boulevard.
I think
so. Kind of punches me. Does it? No. Yeah, I don't know what it sounds like over here.
Maybe the levels are up on your.
It's a little louder,
It
but
sounds punchy.
it's a good. The bass is good too. Well,
Sounds good.
T9 Scott Sable. Zach is paired with Russell Henley and Ryan Moore. Defending champion George Spieth will tee off at 12:45, and he is paired with Steve Stricker and Stuart
I would like to
Sink.
hear
All
what
four of those guys
that's the
played
toughest part for
Monday
me is because I
at
can't tell what
Elmcrest
it sounds
Country
like
Club.
ever
Zach lost to
until
Jordan
I listen
five-hole
again, and I
playoff
don't know if
last
that
year.
still
Both
translates
players
because I never can listen live.
dropped their games.
The only time I can is if I'm like if Mark's filling in for me, I can tune in.
Yeah, well,
I can hear, but it doesn't. I never really know, but I'm on it.
I'll have to listen to the podcast because there's 3 different ways to listen through these on air and the podcast, and they all seem to be different.
And our on-air signal.
Rattlers beat the Colonels 5-2.
That's just because
Legendary
this
coach
is
Coach Bob
Montana radio right
announced
now, and
his
the radio's
retirement
kind of
yesterday.
not a good antenna. It's kind of a bad way to monitor. So
Then became the
I
head coach
monitor
of
the straight valve, the straight
the
feed.
NCAA regional
Yeah, you're
championship
providing
11
the
times
speed
and went to
source.
the NCAA Division III
And as
World
long as that
Series
sounds
in
clean, my hope is
2006
that it sounds good on
and
the other end.
2009 where they finished
Yeah,
in second place.
And there's no, I mean, we have a good
all-time in Division III
keeps up
history
on that
with
stuff.
927 career wins. Assistant
All right, I gotta
coach
get this
Diane
picture up
Meyer
here.
will take over for Bob. That does it for morning sports on KCRG TV9. Scott Sable, and now you're up to date with sports on KXIC.
How do you spell mulchy? M-A-L-C.
I just put Maltese. Oh,
I'll find it.
you do whatever you want. There's no correct spelling.
Well, welcome back. It's the Positively Petland Show. Trying to figure out how to spell mulchy.
MAL-CHIH.
I-H. Maybe an H. The silent H. Whatever. You know what we're talking about. It's a Maltese.
Yeah, maybe you dropped the last H.
A Maltese Chihuahua. And you can take a look right now. The post is up and on Facebook. It is the picture. So now I have a better idea. And that is kind of what I pictured. I guess I thought it would have maybe less fur, but I guess the fur is coming from the Maltese, right? Because
the Maltese is, a non-shedding, so it's more of that fluffy type.
Fluffy fur.
Right? And so the scrappiness is what I try to describe here. A little, if you understand what wire-haired looks like, a little like that, although it feels soft. It doesn't feel wiry at all. But it has the look of, it's kind of like some of it's short, some of it's long, and so you get that wiry look to it.
They are cute, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
These are almost all white, Ron.
That's from the Maltese.
Okay.
And so there's a dominance in that white gene.
Are there other colors?
Oh yeah, the Maltese and what we have are colored Maltese in the store.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
So just so you know, if you do go to Petland, Iowa City right now, there isn't a picture of the current. So you have to go to the store and take a look if you want to see the ones you have. But you do have colored ones.
Yeah, we'll have. I believe it's either by the end of today or afternoon of tomorrow. We'll have those pictures up and ready for you.
Okay. So what can you tell us? It's a small breed. It's
yeah. So let's start with So I always try to preface this because there's some people out there, and I totally respect where you're coming from in saying, hey, let's not mess with the purebreds anymore. Let's keep those lines, pure and all that kind of stuff. And I understand where you're coming from, and I definitely am with you on that as well. I do like mixed breeds. We are all mixed breeds here. I'm German, Norwegian, and and Polish. My gosh, the largest part of me is Polish.
We have a good representation here. I'm Dutch, English, and Irish, and so we have a European Union.
Europe and Scandinavia well represented.
Yeah,
and so
Welsh too.
So that is so we are mixed breeds, and so on the purebred side, all purebreds were mixes in the past, and we've talked about that when we review these purebreds. If there's any evidence of what the mix was back then, we talk about that, and you go, oh yeah, I can see how you put those two dogs together. But then over hundreds or thousands of years, you then fine tune that breed, so that it's got the healthiest qualities and all that kind of thing. So on this one, we're taking a Maltese, which is a non-shedding white type breed, and the Chihuahua, which is a short hair shedding, but in many different colors. And so you've got these two breeds. Both of them are well under 10 pounds, so you're going to maintain that small breed. On the Chihuahua side, if there are any legally blonde movie buffs out there, Reese Witherspoon, this was her purse dog that she had running around on that movie. I think Taco Bell made it popular a long time ago as well in one of their commercials.
I thought they had just the Chihuahua, right? Is that what you're talking about? Just the Chihuahua?
We're talking just the
Gotcha.
Chihuahua side to get the understanding. Okay, what is the Chihuahua again?
Okay.
Where did it come from? It does come from Mexico. It is named after this state of Chihuahua within Mexico.
Do you ever have Chihuahua cheese? I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but I've had cheese that's called Chihuahua cheese. It's really good.
Oh, you said cheese.
Cheese.
I thought you were saying another mix, and I'm like,
No, I'm not. I don't want to confuse you. But
Chihuahua cheese?
Yeah.
So it's cheese that originates
I don't know if
from
that's
Mexico?
actually true. Yeah, but Mexican cheese in general.
I don't
Big
know
fan.
that one.
Do you like Mexican food?
I love Mexican food.
Now I'm really taking you off the path.
The best cheese that I got, on a Mexican platter type thing.
Mm.
We were down in Tucson. We went over the border. I forget what the little town is. It's actually a bigger town in Mexico. You go over the border. I just had beans with that white cheese. What's that called?
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It is different down there than it is up here. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like candy down here. And just ate it up. And life was fine even afterwards. So,
that's a very big part of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
right.
yeah.
I'll let you get back to it.
So that was the cheese conversation.
So back to the Chihuahua.
So the Chihuahua is a sassy little dog. It is
sassy.
It is one of those breeds where if you have a bigger dog and you bring a Chihuahua into the mix of the home, the Chihuahua will dominate that home. And it's something with small dogs, and again, I don't quite understand why that is. They overcompensate for their little size, and they really try to, be the alpha type.
Little man syndrome.
Right. And so the Chihuahua has this nice little sassy feel to it. It has a tough time in cold weather, so it definitely is that inside dog during the winter. Gets all the exercise it needs indoors and all that. It is a shedding dog, but it is very short fur. So they actually call this one of those hypoallergenic dogs only because it is so small and the surface area of the dog is so small. Most people don't develop or find that they have allergic reactions to it. You would if you brought it real close to your face and just rubbed it all over, and all that kind of stuff. You'd get a good inhale of that. you probably would see some symptoms that way. So that's the Chihuahua aspect of things.
Last year we went to Virginia, and my brother-in-law has a Chihuahua and a golden retriever. So the big dog, little dog combo, and they're cute because the Chihuahua will like cuddle up with it, and they sleep, together, and they're friends. But what we thought was funny, and I remember bringing this back to the show too, is that Jack at 4 at the time, petrified of the Chihuahua, didn't want to go because the Chihuahua was barking and was like rumble, tumble, wrestling with the retriever. So it's like this dog is humongous, golden retriever. He could care less. He's not scared of it at all.
Yeah.
But the Chihuahua would come out and bark at him, and he'd hide behind us, and it was just like.
Wait, who would hide?
Jack.
Jack.
Yeah. So he was scared of the little dog because it was like real, just dominant as far as barking, and it kind of, I think that spooked him. But it was just funny because you'd think it'd be the opposite. He'd be cuddled up with a little dog and be scared of the big scary dog. But it was just totally reversed in that situation.
Well, let's talk about barking, because I'd love to go on tangents. People associate small dogs with barking issues. Realize all of that is a trained experience. The owners intentionally or unintentionally train that dog to bark or allow that to continue as a way for the dog to communicate with the family and everybody else. Realize that when you get these little dogs, you don't have to have a barking dog. You can show that dog that, hey, you don't have to bark in order to get my attention. Here's how we do it in our family, and alter that behavior so that it's not a barking dog. Susie, our little trouble child at home, would prefer to communicate through barking with us. So she will have a tendency to bark, but we work with her to say, hey, that's not how we do things. It gets a little irritating, and so we work with Susie to be a non-barking dog. For the most part, she's a really great dog. I know we talk about her a lot, but it's all the training things that we've done. And so for the most part, Susie's not a barking dog. She has her moments, when we're approaching the house and she sees us. I'm happy!
So does she bark when someone knocks on the door?
About 50% of the time, yes. If I'm in the house, barks and then looks at me and goes, oh, I'm sorry, I know you don't want me to bark right now.
That's funny.
But I really you can
like
see
processing.
Oh, she looks right at me and says,
I shouldn't be doing
yeah.
That's funny. So I want to leave a lot of time for pee and poo, because that's the time that you needed to talk about.
So let's switch over to the Maltese, which is a distinguished little guy, also once known as ye ancient doggy of Malta. Malta. There we go.
All right.
And so this one is one of those. And the Chihuahua has a little similarity to this. It was for the wealthy. Chihuahuas were for the wealthy families way back when. The Maltese were as well. Get this, in the 1500s, they were claimed to be sold for $2,000.
Back then?
Back then.
Whoa.
I don't know, but that sounds like
that's a lot of head of cattle.
That's a lot of money for Maltese. So they're that, they've got that distinguished past to them, and they still have that. When people have Maltese, they're very proud, and it's always, they're always about grooming and making it look as pretty as possible.
Are they one of the more expensive breeds out there?
No, I think they had their day, but it's in the breeding world. There's a lot of supply and demand issues. So if the supply is low and the demand is high, the price goes up. And the Maltese is kind of right in the middle. I think in the past they did have some high prices.
Just a curious question from somebody like yourself who's in the business. What is the most expensive breed that you typically carry at the store? Is it the English Bulldog?
It's always the English Bulldog, and that breed will maintain that for reasons not. Well, it is about supply, but there's a reason why the supply will always be on the lower side. That is a very, very difficult breed
to breed.
Yeah. And people will get into breeding English Bulldogs, and it's one of those things you experience it once, and you're like, I will never do that again. That was not a fun experience.
I know we've touched on that in the past. There's that dedicated group of people who do raise those dogs, and it sounds like it's very challenging.
It is. Yeah. There's all sorts of. You're doing blood work. You're doing all sorts of things to make sure that you have the healthiest of all healthy times to breed.
They are cute dogs.
You're doing C-sections every time.
Yeah, C-sections.
Not because they can deliver naturally, but it's a catastrophic event in a lot of times. So you do C-sections. So now you're stressing out mom. So you can only do that once, twice, type thing. So now there's another limiting factor. So there's a lot of things that play into that specific breed there.
All right. So Maltese, you've given us a little bit of a breakdown. Anything else on the Maltese?
So the Maltese, what's nice about it is a non-shedding dog. They even go as far as saying low to non-shedding. All dogs shed, we shed. So we're technically not we would call ourselves a non-shedding, but technically we do shed. So the same thing with Maltese, it sheds a little bit. So you would have to, on a Maltese, get it groomed and all that. White color, that's the Maltese color that comes to the table. So both of these are under 10 pounds, so you're going to result in a dog under 10 pounds, usually in that 5 to 7 pound range is kind of the average for both those dogs. You're in that range, and so that's what you're going to end up with a Maltese Chihuahua. Both of them are active indoor dogs, so and they're going to get all the exercise they need indoors. So if you have a hard time going for walks, this is a great dog to have, because this guy will. Both of them have that energy. They'll run around, they'll play, they'll have fun. You just toss a little ball around, and they will make it into an endurance race, because they're going to just be so active. The Maltese has a very family-esque behavior to it, so it's a really nice family dog as well. So that brings it into and the Chihuahua is maybe a little more energetic, but brings that family-esque even more so into the breed. So the Maltese is a really fun little breed, a little scrappy looking with the wire hair, but very nice, soft. I would consider it, because you got a Chihuahua that's shedding and a Maltese that's not, you're in the medium shed range there. Furminator might be needed on some of the depending on the qualities that your dog took on. Might need a Furminator, and then on the other side of the coin might need a groomer to cut the hair, because it will continue to grow.
We are in the midst of the Positively Petland Show on AM 800 KXIC. Ron Solzer's here with Petland of Iowa City. I'm Jake Capron. The Maltese is the breed of the week, and again, we encourage your phone calls. If you own a Maltese Chihuahua, call us up and claim your free bag of treats and free bag of dog food courtesy of Nutro. That's 319-354-0800. 319-354-0800. That's the phone number to call if you have a Maltese. And you can also call if you just have a Maltese or a Chihuahua and claim that free bag of food and free bag of treats. It's free stuff, so call now. 319-354-0800. All we need is the name of your dog and a little bit about your dog. And we do love hearing from your listeners, so always feel free to call and listen in each week for the breed of the week and find out if your breed will make it as the breed of the week. And then you can call in on that week. 319-354-0800. 319-354-0800 if you have a Maltese or a Chihuahua or a Maltese. That is what we're talking about today, the breed of the week. And Ron, I'm leaving some time here because I know you want to talk about solutions. You said the yellow grass problem, for people outside that or have their dogs outside go to the bathroom, and also for people that have poop problems too, to say, right?
We're going to hit 3 things here fairly quickly. So if you've got questions, call in for sure, but you can also come into our store. So the first question I have for you, does your dog eat poop? And that's called coprophrasia. And there's ways to deter it from eating its own poop. So it's one of those things, does your dog eat its own poop?
Its own poop. Or we've talked about the cat one too. That's another issue. Similar issue.
Dogs will eat the cat poop, and you can use a similar product for cats. What you're doing is you're feeding, so you got to go, whose poop are they eating? Okay, who pooped that poop?
First step, who pooped that poop?
Yeah, there it is.
All right.
Feed this product to that pet. So whether it's the cat or the dog, you got to feed this to that pet. Because what it will do is that dog or cat will eat this product. It will put a nasty taste into their poop, so that when the dog, whether it's that dog or one of your other dogs at home,
the offender
will say, oh, I can't stand that stuff. I'm not going to eat that. And it deters them from eating that.
And it doesn't harm the
eater. Right. It actually freshens their breath.
Oh, there you go.
And anybody that has a dog that eats poop,
and then comes up to give you a big old kiss.
Susie the trouble child, guess what she would do? She ate it like chocolate. So coprophrasia is that situation, and the reason why, or the best study that I've read out there is from the veterinarians that say that they have smaller intestinal tracts, and so they do not digest their food fully, and so the dog is able to still smell nutrient-rich product in the stool, and so they say, hey, let's eat it. You know, there's probably some, oh gosh, natural characteristics of dogs where they probably eat poop also for digestive reasons, for enzymes and all that kind of stuff. You know, I wasn't able to find that. That's just a theory of my own.
It's gross, so you want to stop
It's a gross thing.
happening,
It's not.
so.
Yeah, it's not required in their daily habits or anything. So that's coprophagia.
What do you think of that, Andre?
Yeah, that was priceless. We do have that product in different forms, so whether it's powder or little chews or however your dog will take that.
Let me take a quick look at that. Are there flavors to this or something? Is it hard to get the dog that you need to eat it to eat it? If
you have one that is tough to get things down, then I would suggest the soft chew. That's what all my dogs will grab those in a heartbeat.
Like treats almost?
Right.
Okay.
When you get to the powders, they're a little more cost effective. What I do is I just sprinkle it over their kibble and do that. If it's not sticking or if they're not eating it, I put just a little bit of moisture in. You know, you're talking a quarter of a teaspoon, you know, a real small amount on the kibble.
Mix it in.
And then mix it in, and now it'll stick to that.
All right.
So the next question I got for you: does your dog scooch on the ground? And I've seen some. My kids will show me this, one of those cartoons that they watch, the more the adult-y cartoons, and they got this thing where I don't know if it's the person, I forget, or the dog. They'll be scooching around and, you know, they're using their front legs to move and all that. What's happening there is there's an anal gland.
It's a gland issue, right?
Yeah, that needs to be expressed. If you're concerned at all, or if you're, hey, I'm not sure what I've got, go to your veterinarian. That's always the first step. Talk to your veterinarian about it. How do I handle that? What are some ways of, you know, am I doing anything wrong, or is it more serious? And we're simplifying it. Most cases, it's an anal gland issue that needs to be expressed, and what needs to happen is the stool just needs to be a little harder. And if the stool is harder, it will express that gland. This product will also help on the front end of why is that anal gland getting filled so quickly and not being expressed, so it'll address that issue. So it works on the front end and the back end. No pun intended, on the back end. So there is a product out there for you called No Scoot. Also,
it's called No Scoot.
It is called No Scoot.
No Scoot, and that's the scoot that a lot of people are familiar with. I had a friend who had a dog. I remember I did that all the time.
This is my own testimonial. Our dachshund has that issue, and I was expressing the anal gland. I was showed how to do it by our veterinarian, and I was doing it every other week, and that was a nasty, smelly process, and I was like, if there is any way I could get away from that. I did find Nutro's Natural Balance, Natural Choice venison product. So we have it in the store. We sell a lot of it to dachshund and hound owners because that seems to be a trend with those dogs. And that product, I feed it to Callie, went away. In the last 6 years, I probably had to do it twice. I think we ran out of that food, and so we tried, the other food or whatever, and all of a sudden it was back again. So that Nutro's Natural Choice, I think it says venison and potato or something like that. The venison product.
So diet can help there too.
Diet can help there. So this, you can continue feeding the product that you are doing right now, and feed some No Scoot along with it, and you will solve that problem.
And what type of, are those little chews too?
This comes in the same thing. There's chews, there's tabs, type thing. The tablets and the powders tend to be a little more economical, but it's one, they're not going to eat it. What's the point? Yeah. And so if you have one of those type of dogs, then get the soft chew. Those tend to be a lot easier to get down.
That's the Scoop on Poop and the Scoop on Poop. The Scoop on Scoot.
And if we did a 30-second spot,
go for it.
Grass Saver. Okay, so if you're letting them out, and hey, I got all these brown patches in my lawn, that's because the urine of your dog
is acidic, right?
It's on the acidic side, and so these alter the pH, and I think it's also there's a nitrogen aspect, and so in a sense you're over fertilizing the lawn in that area, and so it burns. So just like if you put too much fertilizer down, and so this alters their urine, and so that it doesn't do that burning kind of thing.
This one's got my attention because when I had my Weimaraner, my lawn looked awful, and I remember what I would do in the fall is kind of scratch up the patches and throw down seed, and it was just
it took a little while to go.
Yeah, and it just always never looked good.
Right.
It was just the next time, the next year, especially over the winter, he would damage the damage from the winter anyway, and then it was,
hitting it right on the head. Yeah. With this product, again, we have it in biscuit, powder, liquid, soft chews. There are all sorts of, if you have a bigger dog, you're probably going to be more concerned about the economics of things, and so go to the powder or the tabs, and you'll have it a little more cost effective. But if you have that dog that's having troubles getting it down, then you go to a biscuit or a soft chew.
It's called Grass Saver.
Grass Saver, and it prevents that. You have to dose it up for larger dogs. The other thing is, as you brought it out, you have to feed this year-round. Most of my damage that I was finding in our yard was that it was winter when it was occurring, and a lot of customers were stopping in the winter. I go, no, this is when you got to do it, because it freezes out there, holds it in suspension, and then in the spring it releases it all at one time, and you got 50 urine things going in that same spot over that winter. Now you got an unbelievable high dose of urine getting into that grass.
And I know some dogs get in the habit of going to one place of their yard, and then they would totally make that area look terrible. But my dog, for whatever reason, he seemed to find a different spot every single time. So I mean, the lawn.
So that was a blessing, or not a blessing?
It was not, because the lawn looked awful. I remember, some people are more meticulous about their lawns. It bothered me to look out my backyard and see yellow patches just all over the place.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this thing existed. So it's called Grass Saver Biscuits by Nature Vet. And if anyone out there has yellow blotches all over their lawn, try this stuff, and hopefully it'll work.
Yeah, all these products that we talked about today are from Nature Vet. They are all natural and safe for your dogs. We're not talking, medication prescriptions here at all. So it's all healthy and safe for your dog as well.
Good. All right. Well, we're almost out of time for the show. Last minute call for any Maltese or Chihuahua owners or Mulchi owners at 319-354-0800, 319-354-0800 as we get ready to wrap up the show here on this Thursday. It's July 10th. Beautiful day today. Storms coming later. Actually, they're saying in the early morning hours, so early Friday morning. And tomorrow's going to be a rainy day. It looks like from 8 a.m. to 2, that window is going to be wet and stormy. We've had a nice week, though, nice dry week so far. So, Ron, as we get ready to wrap up, anything else on your mind? $5 nail trims, right?
$5 nail trims. We're Petland of Iowa City, across from the Sycamore Mall. 1851 Lower Muscatine Road is our address. Our phone number is 319-351-9451. If you have any questions about what we talked about here today or any other questions. Another big thing that people come to us is we have buy 10, get 1 free on most all of our premium dog foods. And so take advantage of that. I made it easy because I am not the coupon clipper, or if there's the thing you got to remember to cut or whatever. I don't do that. We do that for you in our store. So when you buy that bag, we put it under your account. We show that it then tracks it, and that 11th bag, we hand it to you with a big smile and say, you get your free bag today.
I bet you see smiles, too, and people know.
Oh, yeah. It's like a little bonus in the checkbook that day, and so they really appreciate it. We track it all for you and take care of it for you. So it's a really good deal.
Ron Salzberg, owner of Petland of Iowa City. This has been the Positively Petland Show podcast, available at kxic.com. Join us every Thursday morning in this 8 o'clock hour. Today's top headlines coming up, plus more on North Liberty Blues and Barbecue. Brian Berquist scheduled to join me next